Hey, last in line, Nation. Welcome back to another episode. We are going to finish strong with the month of January. We got a heavy hitter today. We got a powerhouse guy who's going to explain to you his vision. He's going to talk about how things are and you are possible. So today, I have the privilege of talking to Treveal C.W. Lynch, and he has been generous enough to get up really early because he's on the West Coast, man, and it's early on a Saturday morning, but man, it's going to be so worth it. So
Mhm.
Treveal, I'm going to give you a little bit of his background. So he is a husband of 20 years, father of four amazing children. He is a self-worth specialist, an ordained pastor, men's mentor, corporate leader, certified
Mhm.
trainer, does it all, man. Two-time published author, and self-development speaker, business owner. He does pretty thing all things under the sun involving leadership, self-worth,
Mhm.
encouragement, just ministering. Man, this guy's dynamic speaker. He is the founder of what is called I Am the Possible. So it's a company that's built on a philosophy that everything you hope to be tomorrow, you already are today. He's committed to communicating that idea. He's committed to inspiring audiences to see themselves in ways they've never imagined possible. Man, you can't get any more motivating and inspiring than this guy. Like I said, he lives in Los Angeles. He's an associate pastor as well. Um, at is it Pasadena Church?
Pasadena Church. Yeah.
Man, and so he is an endurance athlete. It says, having competed in over seven competitions. Um, so I tell you,
But that
not
number's
only
grown
do
since then.
what's that?
No, I said that number's grown since
Oh,
probably,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
That's a little
Good,
outdated
good.
bio. Yeah.
Good, man. Well,
Yeah,
hey,
it's
I
been
tell
good.
you, let me introduce this guy because he is amazing, and he's a not only is he a physical uh inspire motivator, he's a spiritual one as well. So
Mhm.
Treveal, welcome to the show, man.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me on. Just can't wait, man, to get into just this moment, man. I believe moments, even as I do my intro for my podcast, man, I always ask the audience, do you believe that it's possible, just possible, that in the next few moments that your life could radically change, that the ideas that you have of yourself could radically change? And so I just believe that moments are just extremely precious. And so thank you, man, for creating this moment, allowing me to be a part of your world and a part of your platform, man. So
Man, it's so good. Thank you. Anything about yourself other than what I talked about, so that you want the audience to know, because I want them to connect immediately with you. So
mhm.
what do they need to know about you to make that connection right now?
You know what comes to heart, man, and one of the things that I really try to do is to be present. Every audience is different, every moment is different. You never know who's listening, who's watching. So I really try to just dial into the moment and not be cookie cutter and to be planned, but to flow in the moment, man. And really what I heard in the moment to share in terms of anything extra about me is I prepared a slide for this upcoming event that I have. And what I did was I created a before and an after. My before life, all of the trials, tribulations, the struggles that I've gone through. And then I created a column for everything that I've accomplished. And
Mm-hmm.
that list is pretty long. Like, it's a pretty extensive list of the things that I've accomplished, the things that I am, the things that I do. One thing that I would want audiences to know, or people to know, is that all those things that I've become, the only reason that I've been able to become anything, the only reason that I've been able to do anything is because I operate out of a confidence in God's
Mm-hmm.
ability, not
Yeah.
my own. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's the biggest thing, because sometimes, man, we can have these vainglorious intros. He's a this and he's a that, and he's done this and he's climbed Mount Everest and he's a super endurance and he's ran 50 miles without taking a breath. And people can get overwhelmed, man, and not see themselves in that and say, man, okay, well, great. I mean, you're awesome. But little old me sitting over here, What can I do? And I want people to understand that forget all of my titles and hats and accomplishments and achievements. Listen, I'm a person just like you who has simply said, I am determined to believe what God can do through the human experience. And that's it.
Amazing.
That's it, man.
Amazing. I mean, that we could just, court adjourned. We could just go home now. That
There
was,
you go.
that's pretty good, man. And I know we're going to build on that. So I can't
Yeah,
wait to get going.
yeah.
This thing's going to be hot. Man, thank you for sharing that. We do a different theme every month on this show. And,
Yeah.
I come up with these acronyms and these outlines, and I'm going to tell you,
Right.
I've had fun with this one because
Right.
getting real, I mean, you don't get much more
Mm,
practical, than that. And so when we break this down, there's some stuff in here that I think if people take it away today, take one thing away today, their steps are going to look different. I
mm,
think their
mhm,
mindset's going to be different. And I think
mm,
that's what we're trying to do, is just make people
mhm,
look through a different lens. And today
mhm.
we're going to have people really look through a different lens about themselves, I'm pretty sure, because
Yeah.
you've got some gold that I know you want to share. So let's talk about the first letter in
Yeah.
getting real.
All
We've
right.
got R, we got renewed, we've got educated, we've got accountable, we've got loud.
Mm,
Renewal. We talk about this, this is the last episode of this month talking about this. And I still think, man, it can't be said enough that mind renewal is a foundation
mm,
of something that charts our course.
yeah.
And I would ask you, talk about the way you renew your mind and how important it is to
Mm,
you.
yeah, man. The renewed mind, man. I picked up a couple of years ago the practice of contemplation. Some people call it the contemplative mind, the contemplative prayer practice. Some people just categorize it as just meditation. But one of the ways that I practice consciously renewing my mind is kind of stepping into each day, the consciously stepping into the unknown and consciously stepping into this realization and really this embracing of, for today I don't know. For today I don't know. I think many times, and this has been one of my big words this year already so far, is we conclude so fast. We conclude about our lives. We conclude about other people. We conclude about God. Oh, God's like this. Oh, I'm just like this. Oh, that person, they're just like this. And we shut the door, close the book, end the story, and we conclude on ourselves, and then we conclude on God, and we conclude on society, and we conclude on social issues and politics, and we conclude so fast, and we get into this, I know it, I got it, I'm done. And when you say renewed mind, man, what comes to heart for me is a renewed mind is one that's open, one that's saying,
Mm-hmm.
I embrace the unknown, right?
Mm-hmm.
I embrace possibilities. I embrace the idea that I don't know it all, and that where I really want to be in life, who I really want to show up as in life, is probably somewhere hidden in the darkness of what I don't know, not in what I
Mm,
do. Because what you
mm,
know has gotten you where you are. But many
mm.
times we're never really satisfied with where we are we? We really want to always achieve more, do more, evolve, grab, move forward, right?
Yeah.
Grow, mature. And so, for me, man, I consciously practice walking into every day. God, today, wipe the slate clean. If I was a whiteboard, wipe it off. Yesterday, whatever thoughts, ideas, mindsets, perspectives served me for yesterday, that was yesterday. But today is going to have new things, new challenges, new experiences. And
Yeah.
so it's like, God, what do I need to embrace for today, for today's journey? And so, that
Mm-hmm.
having that open mind, man, God just drops so much revelation, so many just words to me that just encourages me and strengthens me for the day.
Yeah. What I hear you say, and thank you for saying that, but because I think
Mhm.
the component that keeps popping into my head when you're talking is
Mm,
humility.
yeah,
And if you can have a blank canvas walking into that day, like you said, a whiteboard
yeah.
of humility inside yourself, then you
Mhm.
are more open to renewal.
Mhm.
Like you are you are fertile ground
There you
for
go.
renewal.
Yeah.
So that's a great point that you make, because I mean, I haven't had anybody explain. That's why I love bringing somebody different.
Mm,
Perspective changes, man. That is huge, because audience, look, you don't know what you don't know, right? And so when you walk into a day based on your experiences in the past, or what your knowledge base is to that point,
hmm.
I think it boxes you in. Not only that, it boxes God in. That's what
Yes.
you're doing, is boxing him in, because you're not opening up that
Yeah.
canvas for him to
Mm,
just do what he wants to do in that moment. Man, I think that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I can get better at that. So I appreciate you sharing that. So do you have any examples kind of what your morning looks like? Because I'm going to assume, to renew your mind the right way, it's got to
Yeah.
start early in the day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get
Absolutely.
to 6 p.m. and go, oh yeah, oh
That's
yeah,
a great
mind
point, man.
renewal. Okay,
That's a
so talk
great
about
point.
that, man.
Yeah, man. So I do work with a mindset coach, someone who is licensed and someone who's educated in psychology, and it's not really so much for therapy, but rather
Right.
it's really about the subconscious training and just the mental training. And one of the things that he taught me was, by default, we all have rituals, we all have routines. Um, but it's about cultivating and creating one that serves you, one that works for you. And
Hmm.
so um last year that was a huge shift for me, because I was, by nature, I get up at around 3:30 in the morning. I'm just a natural early bird. That's not kudos or big things for me. It's just, that's just who I am. So I get up at 3:30 in the morning, and my old routine, I was very rigid around what that looks like. I'm gonna meditate for 25 minutes. I'm gonna pray for 35 minutes. I'm gonna get before God. I'm gonna train. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And it was very, very rigid. And after having a conversation with him, I was very frustrated, because I have a creative space in the morning where God flows, and I'm able
Yeah.
to write and create.
Yeah.
And so, and my mind is able to be renewed. And so he helped me to tweak it. And this was something that was interesting that I really wanted to share with the listeners,
Mm.
is that there is no template
Right.
for your relationship with God. I have a buddy that was the best man in my wedding, and he has this phrase. He's a like a karate guy. He gets into like mixed martial arts, and he has a phrase. He says, "Workout is worship." And when he first came out with that slogan, I didn't know what he meant. Workout is worship. What are you talking about?
Hmm.
Every morning, as a personal trainer myself, and just I am just a fitness fanatic, I found and I noticed that when I run on a treadmill, man, I'm writing sermons, I'm writing content, I'm writing my next
Yeah.
book. I mean, stuff is just falling out of
Mm.
heaven, man. I mean, God is
Let's
just
go.
dropping jewels on me, right? But I was
Hmm.
trying to box God into, I'm going to sit somewhere and I'm going to meditate and I'm going to wait before the Lord.
Candles.
Yeah, right. And it's like, this is uninspiring. And I
Right.
was so boxed into, God has to come first. I can't dare work out and then get with God. And the revelation was, that's how God works with you, Treveal. In your working out, he speaks to you. It's okay. And so
Yes.
just whoever who's ever listening, don't box God into some rigid routine, some religious routine, and you're deflated versus being inspired. So let God do what he does with you the way he does it with you, because you're unique and special
I've
in
done it.
God's
I've done it
eyes.
before, man. I've done exactly what you said. I've almost wore that cloak of guilt, because I felt like I drank a half a cup of coffee before I prayed, Oh
See?
no.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, I mean, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's both and. It's both
Thank you.
and.
Thank
God
you.
is
Yes.
unlimited. So if he wants to speak to you, he'll do it when you're going out to get the newspaper in the morning. So you know, I think we just have to be tuned into the right station. He's always
Yeah, man.
talking to us, man. We're just
Always.
not always listening. But that's a great
That's
tool.
a
That's
great point
great
right there.
practical. That's a great
Yeah.
way to practically explain to listeners, hey, free yourself up, man.
Yeah.
Don't be bound by that guilt or that, conviction
No.
anymore, that, oh, I didn't do it when I was supposed to do it,
Mm.
So I love it. I love it. as we go into educated, so the REAL, man, the E for educated, I want to somehow, and it might be a little off script, that's okay.
Yeah.
God wants the listeners to know what he wants the listeners to know today.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, strategies and methodology I like to talk about when it
Hmm.
comes to learning,
Hmm.
because if we're on a growth track, then learning's part of that.
That's right.
Okay. Expanding our capacity. That's what
Yep.
it is.
Yep.
So, your journey, I know about it. You
Hmm.
can talk a little bit about your past when it comes to why are you such a fitness fanatic, and
Hmm.
talk about your journey and then how that developed into you being hungry for information, hungry
Hmm.
for betterment, for growth, because I
Hmm.
think it does apply here. So we're
It
talking about
does.
educated, we're talking about growth. Talk
Hmm.
about a little bit about your story and how you got into this whole track of just, man, you're so hungry to learn and grow.
Yeah, man, that's an excellent, I love that you pulled that out because I never even drew the lines, but I'm going to have to go back to this recording, man, once it's all done and just really meditate on what you just broke down because you just tapped into something that I think I'm just going to
I think
run
so,
with,
man. I
man.
think
So
so. And it
that's
wasn't me. So I think it's
yeah,
worthwhile.
man, yeah. Um, so the journey to this, hunger for growth and for education. 7 years old, man. 7 years old. I was the skinny kid. I was, like any regular guy, right? Regular body type, skinny little kid, 7 years old. At the age of 8, man, there was this shift. I mean, I'm looking at these little pictures in the backyard, little skinny little kid hanging up, I'm just hanging out in the backyard playing with my cousins. Almost like the next year, night and day, I just ballooned up, man. I just picked up weight, became this, fat kid, chubby kid. I got the man boobs, I got the big belly. And look, 8 years old, guess what? It's shame
That's
time.
rough. That's
We
rough.
are about to make fun of you. We are going to pick on you. We are going to bully you to death. We are going to chase you home from school. We're going to call you names. We're going to alienate you. We're going to make you feel like you're not included in anything. The girls, you don't get no play with the girls. And so all of this crap in that age of 8 to maybe 13 or 14, my neighborhood, the kids, man, just
Mm,
society just really beat me down. And when they began to beat me down, I really got in the rut of comparisons. And I wasn't praying to God back then, but just my inner dialogue. Why me? Why am I fat and those kids aren't? Why do I have like this fat on my chest and I look like a girl, but these guys don't?
mm,
Why am I being picked on and nobody else in my neighborhood is getting picked on? So I started comparing myself and I just felt like crap. I felt like a rag doll. I felt like society's throwaway child. And so fast forwarding, I've always struggled with my weight. If I don't work my butt off, I'm just one of those natural body types that's I'm just going to pick up weight if I don't
mm,
work it
mhm.
off. So fast forward, man, many years. I'm here in Pasadena, and we just joined the church here in Pasadena, and you still are carrying those childhood scars,
Of
those
course.
childhood issues, right? Early morning prayer, man. At this point in time, because I mean, I'm skipping a whole bunch of time, right? But
Yeah.
long story short, I'm teaching men how to pray at this point. I was writing my first book on prayer and teaching men how to pray. And a personal trainer named Tony Johnson, he joins morning prayer with us and we build this relationship. He wants to know how to pray and get better with connecting with God. And here I am, you know, I'm like 23 or 24 at the time. And one of my best friends in the church, just a few weeks prior, had pulled me over into the main office of the church. And he said, Treveal, listen, I'm, in love. I just got to tell you the truth. He says, man, you've gotten really big. I stepped on the scale later that week. I was 245. 245, out of shape, just in a bad place.
Can't see you at 245. Can't see it.
245,
I
man,
can't see it.
just a bad place, right? Tony and I made this quick pact. He needed to know how to pray and connect with God. I needed to know how to lose weight. Oh, maybe I didn't add this. Tony was a certified personal trainer
Yeah.
and the district manager of Goes Gym.
Gotcha.
I, Come on, man. I mean, come
The
on.
dots connected.
Dots connected, man. So I said, Tony, you teach me how to lose weight, brother. I'm going to teach you to pray. Again, fast forward, man. 2 years of meeting Tony in the Goes Gym. I'm sorry, back then it was called Bally's Total Fitness. He became a Goes Gym later on. But Bally's Total Fitness, we met in Pasadena in the parking lot of this gym at 5 a.m. every day. I taught him how to pray. The gym opens up. He taught me how to lose weight. In 2 years, I lost 75 pounds, changed my life forever. I understood fitness and nutrition. I then went on to get certified because what I learned in that time, as he grew in his relationship with God, and as I grew in my relationship with fitness and health, what I picked up and what led to this thirst for knowledge and for education and growth was I understood for the first time the way that God designed the human body is very similar, paralleled, in fact, of how he designed the mind and our spirit.
On
And so,
purpose, right?
if you know how to train the body to cause adaptations, then you also can apply that same information to the way you think and that inner man, and you can cause all types of adaptations and change on every single level of your life. And so through that knowledge, man, through literally becoming certified, I still got my book right here. Look at this, man. Still got it right here, man.
Let's
National certified
go.
trainer right there. Personal fitness right there.
Let's
With this
go.
knowledge, this became sort of a second Bible, man. And
Yeah.
God dropped so much revelation through this study, and he began to, really cultivate and understanding of how the mind works and how the body works and how the spirit works. And I just took off. I just took off.
Man, I mean, look at the transformation too. And I would imagine if we were sitting down with Tony, he would have that, he would feel that same transformation in a different way, right? With prayer. So that to me, when I hear you say that, is, iron sharpening iron, and God, obviously physical transformation is a little easier to identify that's a need in your life. There's other areas in your life that maybe there aren't so identifiable. But like we talked about, when you're getting renewed in the morning, or you got that blank canvas of your mind and you're opening the door for God to step in and show you something, man, he reveals that. And then there's a book for everything, right? I mean, we're talking fitness. We're talking, there's a person who has walked through what you've walked through. So there's no excuse for not having information right now. So if you get identify and you can acknowledge that area of need, that void in you, there's something there that fills that. I mean, you get along with God and God fills every void, but he'll reveal to you resources for that area.
Bam.
People, books, whatever. So I think we can walk away from this educated portion of the outline to say,
Man, yeah.
Look at your life. You got to be hungry. You got to identify the need, and then you got to identify those resources. And I think that was key. And I think, man, there's somebody listening to this. I'm not even kidding you. There's somebody listening. If it's just one person, it was enough.
Yeah, it was
that is changed by that conversation. So I appreciate you sharing that. We're gonna step into the next portion, which is the A, right? So we've got REAL, and accountability is the A. And it's funny because every time I say that word, I feel like there's somebody cringing that hears it. And I think it's because somebody's got a unhealthy definition of what accountability is. It's biblical. First of all, God didn't send Jesus to just walk the earth by himself. Look, he got 12 people, not that he needed accountability, but he needed to show people that they did. And so I think accountability is worth talking about 2,000 years later. I feel like I think it's a foundation for our growth as well. Like, I think we can't do this alone, isolated. We have an enemy who would love it if we did, but even more reason to talk about accountability, because we're fighting a battle every day. And if we can win, if we know the enemy and what he wants, we can go the other direction. So talk to the listeners, give your, I guess, definition of accountability, what you think it really is, and then how it's mattered in your life. You
Mhm.
just talked about that story. I mean, that story was accountability in a nutshell, but
Yeah.
um, talk about how it should matter to somebody listening that's struggling with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm a big definition person. So when I hear the word accountable or accountability, really that word is broken out into two different things. It's an account and then able, or account and then ability. So it's our ability to give an account.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first thing that I would always share about accountability is it's never about the other person. It actually it's actually never about the other person. Now go with me. This may take some imagination, right? But I mean, I could take this bottle of water
Mm-hmm.
and I could be account able to this bottle of water. I don't actually need the other person. And I think that's what you were starting to allude to. Many of us have an idea that accountability means a rigid, rugged
Yep.
relationship with someone who's going to nail us and bash us
Yep.
and beat us down like a drill sergeant because we didn't give 110%. You didn't give 150%. You didn't go the extra mile, man. And we get this beat down complex. And it's like, no, 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 no. Accountability starts with you. I could literally sign this sparkless water up as my accountability partner. And I could say, okay, at 5 in the morning every day, I'm going to come before this sparkless water and say, okay, yesterday I gave it my all. I did my best. And I'm excited about what we have going on for today.
Mm.
That's the account. Yesterday I did my best, right? I may have tripped up, I may have slipped, I may have not done enough, I may not have, but it's your ability to give an account of where you are. So it really begins with that humility. It really begins with your desire to face the truth about where
Mm-hmm.
you are in life with a
Mm-hmm.
healthy respect to the fact that in God's eyes, where it matters most, you're always accepted. You're always approved of. You're always appreciated. And so it's this, in my life, when because I have a few accountability partners, they know very clear. And this is
Mm-hmm.
not being haughty or being cocky,
Right.
but when I establish those relationships, they know up front you're someone who I'm going to consciously, intentionally avail myself to be able to speak back into my life, offer um, constructive
Mm-hmm.
critiquing and
Mm-hmm.
criticism. But let me be very clear about this. And this is me speaking with my accountability partner. You're never going to crush my spirit. You're
Right.
never going to cause me to have shame. You're never going to cause me to feel that I'm less than.
Yeah.
Those days are over because I'm checking with him first.
Right.
You are going
Mm-hmm.
to, I can, as my pastor says, chew the meat, spit out the bone. So my relationship with my accountability partner is, let's come into this moment of accountability. I'm going to share and avail my life with you. I'm going to then consider what you're saying and allow God to confirm that which I need to keep and to let go of that which I need to let go
Yep.
of.
Yep.
Right.
And
So,
if you choose
mhm,
wisely in those people and they're
mhm,
like-minded counsel,
yep.
then God's going to reveal to them what you need to hear as well. I
Correct.
feel like, you know what I'm saying? So we make it
Absolutely.
more than about the man. We
Yes, there
make
you
it
go.
about the message. And
Right.
so I think so, I love the whole I like that chew the meat, spit out the bone. That's pretty good. I like that. Because we do need to filter information, of course.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yes, man. Yes.
that's a great point. And I'm glad you talked about some of those people that in your life, because people listening right now, I mean, even me, I've gone through kind of some ups and downs in trying to
Mm-hmm.
get those right people structured in
Mm-hmm.
my life. But I call it, giving somebody the permission to hold the mirror.
Oh,
So,
nice.
somebody's got that, just holding it up, and you look at yourself,
Bam.
and
That's
you
it.
talk, you can say,
Come
yep,
on.
I did it right today. Or, hey,
Mm.
my heart was right, but I may have tripped up here. So there's a need for that. And I think there's somebody listening that doesn't understand how to practically walk that out. So
Mhm.
what about being an accountability partner? So let's say, so I've had a guy on the show before that talked about being both a Paul and a Timothy
Mhm.
to somebody,
Yeah.
right? So if you're a Paul to somebody, then you're kind of the script is flipped a little. So you're that accountability person that's
Yeah.
speaking into somebody's life. Talk about maybe some areas where you've done that and what that looks like, how that's helped somebody.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do that for several men right now. And sometimes brothers will come to you when they're high and they want to just chop it up on some things.
Mm-hmm.
But more likely, a lot of the times that they come to you, when things are bad. And what I've always done is I've always practiced, number one, um, something called empathetic listening.
Yep.
So I always listen with empathy. How can I, to the best of my ability, put myself where this person is, to feel what they're feeling, and to try to get inside of their space, um, so that I can then speak from that, which then leads to the second thing is validate. I always try to validate people's feelings. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, you're feeling that way for a reason. I'm not gonna just like gloss over how you feel and no, man, you should suck it up and be a mighty warrior of God. The Bible says, man,
Sure. Sure.
people don't need that crap. Like, stop
Sure.
that, stop that. I always say, be the word of God, be the
Yes.
word, right? If he spoke you into being and then he inspired other people to write the word, that everything comes from a spoken word. So just live this life, man.
Yep.
Quit trying to. Oh, anyway,
Yep. Yep.
could I get down that path?
Preach. Yeah.
But yeah, man. Number one, empathetic listening. Really listen, not to just quickly answer and just get them off your plate, but to say,
Sure.
yo, man, if you ask me for 30 minutes, you actually have my 30 minutes. I'm not going to be in your face for 30 minutes, but my mind is somewhere else for 30 minutes,
Sure.
because people can feel that presence.
Of
So,
course.
number one, provide presence, be present. Number two, listen with empathy. Try to get inside their space so that you can truly fellowship, get
Yeah.
inside the ship with your fellow man. Get in there. Don't just look from the shore and like, man, you drowning, brother. You drowning. No, man,
Right.
get
Good
your butt in
luck.
that boat with them, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then thoroughly validate where they are. And then through that 3-step process, then really just saying, in that time, kind of like internally praying, God, what would you have me to say in this moment?
Right. That's
And
so
not judge it,
good.
because sometimes he'll say, share this, and in your logical mind, you're thinking, man, this is kind of harsh, man. My brother might not like me after I say this. They
Yeah.
always do, because you're
Lean
being.
not on my own understanding in that moment, right? Don't
That's
try to
right.
make sense of it. Man,
Boom,
that's so good.
boom.
I'm gonna
That's it.
I'm gonna watch this back and man, I'm gonna pause it right there, I think, because that's really good. People listening right now probably are going, oh, wow, I hadn't
Mm.
thought of it that way. When you break that down like that,
Mhm.
man, that is good. That is tangible. That's something they can do today. Start
Mm.
today because we got
That's right.
leaders listening too.
Yeah.
People that are in leadership positions and they struggle with being that Paul to somebody, being that
Yeah.
mentor, that accountability person that speaks truth and love. And I think he
Mm.
just gave him something that was gold. Man.
Mhm.
So, okay, man, we'll transition then because that was that. What else can we say about that? I mean, I think it's important to have people to identify our blind spots. So that's
Mhm.
very crucial. So to transition into getting loud, right? We're getting
Mm.
real today,
Yeah.
and we've gotten so real with Treveal that, man, we could technically probably stop here and write a book about what we just talked about. But I think it's important to talk about our believers, like our circle of believers in this world.
Mhm.
We're called to have a voice, right?
Yeah.
And what you just said earlier was key. We're called to live it more than we're called to shout it and scream it at people.
Yeah.
But I think living out loud can be through our
Mhm.
actions.
That's
Like we
right.
can be loud through the way we love people,
That's
like through
right,
the way
man.
we
Yeah.
empathetically listen to people. Like I think we can
Yes.
do that.
Mhm.
So Man, we're in a world that looks way different than it did, I don't know, 2 years ago, 10
Yeah.
years ago for sure.
Hmm.
We could go down the entire list of ways we're divided, just racial, just socioeconomic, political, anything political. We can talk about how that has divided us as a people. But the great thing about believers, even if we don't agree on certain things,
Yeah.
we can come back to the middle.
Yep.
That's God's word and a God that loves us, and we can all agree on that. Talk
That's right.
about how we can be loud as
Mhm.
believers in a way that loves people and in a way that bridges the gap that is out there right now.
Yeah. Um, as you were speaking, I just want to gather my thoughts so that I can say this with as much clarity as I can. Um, okay, so let me first say that I want to say one more thing, but this flows pretty well into this.
Just you go, man.
Okay,
Yeah, you
thanks.
go.
Okay,
We
okay,
got
okay,
you. You
cool.
go.
All right, cool. So going back to the previous section about when you say leaders are listening, one thing that I want to share with leaders, and one thing that I have a passion about with leaders, is helping leaders to lighten the load.
Mm,
Helping leaders lighten the load. If you are a leader that is out there, and I just kind of want to look at the camera really quick. Leaders,
absolutely.
if you are out there, if you're listening, if you're watching this, I am speaking to you. I want you to understand that, or I want to exhort you. I want to encourage you to lighten your load, specifically in the area of thinking. And you may not even be conscious that you're thinking this, but thinking that you're the answer.
Mm.
By you thinking that you're the answer, by you thinking that you have to come up with the answer for those that you're leading, that you have to come up with the answer for those that are coming to you for advice, you are carrying such a heavy load
Mhm.
that is stressful, that is deflating, that is frustrating, because you're not we in and of ourselves, we are containers. We're not the content.
Yep.
God is the content. We are the containers.
Yep.
Our job is to simply take the lid off, just like a container. Your job is just to take the lid off. If God has something for you to share, share it. If he doesn't,
Mhm.
shut up. It's
Mhm.
okay. It's
Mhm.
okay. Those that you lead, those that come to you, they will love you anyway. They will look to you anyway. They will trust you even more, because they will see someone who is operating not in their own strength, their own power, their own wisdom, but you're someone who's operating in a total dependency to God. And in my
Mm.
own life, I've said to those that I've led many times, I don't have an answer for you. I don't have an answer for you. It would be wrong, it would be unjust, it would be unfair, and it would be a disservice to you. This is me speaking to that person. It would be a disservice to you for me to just come up with a quick little answer and lead you on your way, because I know how much uh, you're investing in what I'm sharing with you. And I don't feel that God is saying anything for me to say to you right now. So let's put a pin in it. Let's cover one another in prayer. And when God has something for me to share with you, I'll share it. So, leaders, please, please, oh, please, lighten the load. Take that load off your shoulders, that weight of the world, take it off. You're not the answer, you're the
Mm.
container. He's the content flowing through you. Let him flow when he wants to flow. And when he's not flowing, it's okay to shut up. Okay.
Yeah.
So, leaders, please, please.
That's unbelievable, man. Because I hope everybody saw me writing that. Like I'm
Oh,
writing
did
stuff
you?
down while you're
Okay.
talking.
Okay. No. Yeah.
I'm trying to take shorthand over here while we're speaking, but
Okay.
no, I think that's
Okay.
perfect. So, how can you, now that you've got their attention,
Mhm.
how can we be loud? So how
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
we
There you
as a
go.
people get loud then? And
Yeah.
in a world that's, sometimes the world doesn't want to hear what we have to say as
Yeah.
Christians, right?
Yep. Bam, you nailed it right there. Loud, loud is nothing more than a mechanism that gets someone's attention.
Mm.
Loud can be silent, loud could be audible. As long as it gets your attention, is loud. Have you ever walked into I don't know, a mall or even church? You walk into church and someone has on a loud shirt, like a
Sure.
big old orange bright shirt. They just stick out like a thumb, like a, like, oh my God, that shirt is so loud. You're like blinding me, right?
Yeah.
We use those terminologies. Man, that shirt is loud. The shirt didn't say anything, but it's displaying something that just grabs your attention.
Yeah.
How can we be loud in our society?
So good.
By being so, and this is one of my favorite words, man,
So good.
so audacious.
Mhm.
People recognize audacity. Now,
Right.
people in social media, people in stars, media, right? All of the famous people that we know, a lot of the times the stuff that goes viral, these people are just walking in audacity. They're just audacious enough to do whatever they did, say whatever they said, be however they're being, and the world takes notice. I
It's
think that
boldness.
sometimes,
It's a boldness, right?
it's
It's a
it, it
boldness.
it is a boldness, right? And that boldness doesn't have to look like anything cookie cutter or spectacular.
Yeah.
It just needs to be whatever he's calling you to. One of the things, just to make it tangible, one of the things that I do, and so I'm gonna later on this morning when I go live for my broadcast, one of the things I'm talking about today is our appetite for
Yep.
approval. And
Yep.
so I'm starting off my broadcast with plate, fork, and knife in hand. Many times, man, you wouldn't. I mean, it would amaze you how many times I get DMs and people reaching out to me because they may call it creativity, but they see me doing something that would probably scare them to do. Or, I step out into, I try things, I do things that maybe other people wouldn't do. And so as a Christian, Jesus did things that no one else would do.
Mhm.
Right. And so he's like a model. He's a template of doing what wasn't going to be done by anyone else, saying what wasn't going to be said by anyone else. And so we can follow in that same suit and simply pray, Lord, for today, give me a holy boldness, give me an audacious spirit for you that would cause me to do something radical within my own space, within my own context.
Wow.
And that's the way that we get loud, man. That's
Yeah.
that's the way that we get loud. It's not necessarily with the picket fence, with the picket
Yeah.
signs and da 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 da.
Right. Right.
The
Nah.
world is used to that. The world's
Yep.
used to that. But let me just share one last thing. What would be extremely loud in someone's context is when you follow the prompting of God in very unreasonable circumstances. When you
Yep.
follow the prompting of God in very unreasonable circumstances, when you're in that restaurant and you feel a prompting to go pay for someone's
Yeah.
dinner and you don't know that person from Adam,
Yeah.
you have no idea, but God is saying, go pay for their meal.
Yep.
That's loud because
Yeah.
that opens up doors for God to then pour in something later on when you're no longer in that person's presence. They're wondering, how did that come to
Yep.
be? And so just that holy boldness, man.
Man, I tell you what, when you're talking, I'm just stuff's going off in me. And I feel like,
Amen. Yeah.
man, so what I hear you say, and this is for the listeners, that are tracking, because this is a good story. You know, people respond to things that are counterintuitive sometimes.
Boom.
What
Yes.
is counterintuitive in our society gets people's attention.
Yeah.
And right now, living in that love and unity, and I'm not being a kumbaya guy either. I'm saying
Mm-mm.
to walk in that counterintuitive kindness that the world craves but doesn't see enough of.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's being
Wow.
what you're saying. That's
Wow.
being
Yes.
audacious. And one
Yeah.
other thing that hit me was today our society is super visually stimulated.
Very.
People are not as audibly stimulated. Now they might hear something that catches them and great, that's awesome,
Yeah.
but that leaves them the next
Mm-hmm.
moment. Like they don't retain that so much. They
Mm-hmm.
say, I got a guy that's a friend of mine he teaches empathy-based listening. And he says, we
Ah.
really listen to about 20%, if
Wow.
that, if
Man.
that 20%. So what I say to you could be
Mm.
tremendous in that moment, but you're going to walk away and 10 minutes later, probably not remember. But people are visually
Wow.
stimulated, man. I'm
Wow.
going to remember what I see, Treveal.
That's amazing. I love it. I love it.
So, I mean, I couldn't help but share that because it's just going off inside me when you're
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
So be that visual stimuli for people.
Boom.
That's how we get loud. I love the shirt
Love it.
analogy you just said, man. That is so perfect because there's
Mm,
noise out there that isn't good loud.
no.
And you hear
Whew.
people talk about all the time, man, the silence was deafening. You know,
Wow. Look at
the
that.
silence was
There's another one.
deafening.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
another
it.
one. So
That's
I'm
another.
like, hey, sometimes we'd be loud without saying anything. So,
Ooh.
man, I think that I don't know. I think we just dropped some sort of bomb there in somebody's
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Somebody's walking away different now after
Mm,
hearing some of that. I
hmm.
appreciate you saying that.
Mm.
Um, just so we can wrap this up, man. I
Yeah,
think
man.
that we
Yeah.
hit this great and
Mm,
talk to us where we can find your resources,
hmm.
where they can, find your podcast, of course, because that thing is taking off like
Yeah.
gangbusters. So talk about yourself a little bit. I know you don't
Yeah.
like to, but
Yeah.
talk about yourself so they can find you.
Yeah, man. I am the possible.com is the hub. We're actually I just met with a business partner of mine yesterday and we're looking to just revamp it. I'm creating something this year, looking to do some more trademarking, but just around the I am the possible universe, man, and just really creating the vision that God's given me for creating this entire resource universe, so that people can really tap into it and really get the resources that they need. But I am the possible.com, man. That's everything. If you Google I am the possible, then everything comes up across social media, the website, the podcast. I am the possible podcast.com. So everything everything is uniformed, man. Really wanted to make it very simple for people to find me. So across all platforms and anything that's searchable online, you can find it just by typing in "I am the possible."
Yeah, it's not I am possible. It's I am the
No,
possible. Then
the
that's how
don't
you
forget the
find
the.
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
Apple Podcast. Yeah, the podcast is tremendous too. So,
yeah.
man, I love his materials. Watch him. He's all over Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. So, yeah, he's got good stuff out there that you're going to walk
Mm,
away differently after
mm,
you read it, after you listen to it. So, man, I on behalf of the listeners, I got
mm,
to say thank you and
yeah,
for all of the wisdom, all of the transparency,
mm,
authenticity that you brought today. I think no doubt somebody walking away different. So I appreciate it,
mm,
Treveal.
yeah. Thank you.
And listeners, hey, I'm going to send you off with this. There's a challenge to you to get real in your own life.
Hmm.
Just renew your mind every day. Just be humble enough to give God that blank slate to give you something and reveal to you. And then, walk in education, learn about growth, be
Mm,
hungry to learn more, identify that place in you that you feel that void and ask God to
mm,
reveal ways for you to learn and grow. And I mean, find a person, get accountable, to yourself, to your faith, to God, but get somebody involved in that process, somebody you trust, somebody that's a godly person that can speak life into you. And then you know what? Get loud, get authentic, get
that's
bold.
right.
Like Treveal said, get loud
Yeah.
without even saying a word.
Mm,
Go love on people and just be the gospel instead of screaming it at people. So, you know what? With that, I will encourage you to go out and put legs on this. Take that step today. And
mm.
until next time, be blessed.